Hey, thanks for being here. My name is Joseph, and I'm a certified life coach, a published author, a music artist. I post a lot of content related to self awareness and spirituality, and a whole lot of things in between that. And so, if this is your bag, then go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment glad to be here in the comment section. This message today is one that's gonna land well for a select few of you right now, and I'm about to explain it in a way that you never heard before. If you're hearing squeaking, I'm in a squeaky chair, so bear with me with that. Anyway, so here goes. They say healing is a nonlinear process, but I want to offer a little refinement to that statement, and I'm going to take my time with this message. Healing is more of a fluid linear process. Timing is nonlinear. Hold that statement in your mind. This point is an invitation to practice some critical thinking, okay? This planet is an energetic psychic container. This means that every system that's holding our way of life up by the seams is a kind of container holding your intellectual, your emotional, and your physical energy. There are many of these containers, but there are only three very specific ones to pay attention to: financial, material, and relational. You see, the healing, personal development, and spiritual journeys push you into the in-between space, and some of you may call it the liminal space. It's a middle ground void where you're standing between who you were and who you're becoming, where you've been and where you're going. It's disorienting, it's confusing, it's frustrating, and hardly anything makes logical sense. You often think you are being tested, like this is some standardized school system. It's not, and that's not up for debate. You can check out the video about that here, I believe. You think the enemy is busy, so you immerse yourself into hope and faith stories because God is busier. And, or you turn to the tarot deck, those blasted tower cards, or human design, the self and not self themes must be clashing, or astrology, my sun, moon, rising signs must be clashing with the retrogrades, or numerology. Is my life path number clashing with my soul path? Crystals, sage, herbs, spices, mantras, therapy, coaching, anything for answers and relief. And those are fine, but when you don't have a concept of these energetic containers, then all of these tools will ever offer is anesthesia, more and more ways to numb yourself. These financial, material, and relational containers form a fluid linear timeline. Linear because they give structure to what feels shapeless, and fluid because it evolves in its own rhythm. Recently, I've been calling the in-between space the triangular incubator, which is a refinement process of these containers. You know you're in the incubator when you're hyper aware of every small provision meeting you in these containers, like the small check that clears just in time, the meal that nourishes you, or the brief but honest conversation that stabilizes your heart. If you've been feeling disoriented, conflicted, exhausted, paralyzed, if life suddenly feels like a fever dream you can't wake up from, a political circus you can't escape, or a dystopia still pretending to be the American dream, then this is for you. There is no exit door here, and the only way out is through. The first container is the financial container. It's the current foundational exchange of energy here, and the way you generate and circulate money determines how the other two containers mature. However, the way the money generates and circulates in this current iteration of reality is measured by a controlled hierarchy that separates the haves from the have-nots. It's elitist, corporatist, segregated, and guarded by gatekeepers. It conditions you to climb this invisible ladder to gain access, privilege, and wealth while feeding on your desperation and your hope to gain it. And some of you exhaust yourself to get it, harm yourself and others to get it, manipulate and distort to get it, or you're simply paralyzed by it. That by the time that you get it, You're either cognitively fulfilled and emotionally starved, or you're cognitively unfulfilled and emotionally starved. But you're never fully emotionally fulfilled when you're engaged in this distorted process. You're left with a deep codependent wound that you've normalized just so you don't lose your financial gain, your material wealth, and your relational access. Therefore, this forces an awakening. And the healing journey forces you to reconcile this financial container first. This means you've got to reconcile your codependency with misaligned work and the corporate hustle. And then you got to reconcile the imbalance between your passion and your purpose caused by this misalignment and the need to hustle yourself into exhaustion. And then reconcile the belief that generating any kind of wealth requires this kind of distortion. You see, the survival mind is deeply attached to this container and its survival conditioning. So when you start refining this system, the survival mind will try to add things, more offers, more effort, more noise for more money, until overflow arrives that looks like success, but registers as panic in your body. And as a result, if analysis paralysis, anxiety, overwhelm, or compulsive hoarding follow, those are signs that the alignment with your money flow isn't clean and coherent yet. And this isn't a personal problem. This is how the financial current has been used against you. And your nervous system is alerting you that something in this current has to be adjusted to align with your most radical truth. The second container is material. And the material container reflects your relationship to shelter, food, clothing, rest, movement, health, and your time. When the financial current stabilizes, in other words, you're allowing the deep truth of your energy to guide you into creating spaces and systems where money can be generated, material provision can harmonize with it, and the right tools, environments, and rhythms start to appear. But don't get your hopes up. If you are still attached to a viral moment that's offering you viral opportunities, viral cash flow, viral relational access, then that's a clear sign that you are still in a codependent state. You're needing quick fixes and a heightened rush to get somewhere you're not even clear about. And what you're going to get in this kind of clarity are small provisions that don't meet the bigger need. Pay attention. The intention is vitality, not virality. Viral equals a virus and virus equals a germ that compromises vitality. When something starts gaining viral attention, something has either been manipulated on purpose or something clean has slipped through the cracks and is being misinterpreted. Like how the concept of manifestation and attraction have gained popularity, but their core concepts have been reduced to survival codependent versions of the financial, material, and relational containers. And cleaning up the material container often means slowing down consumption, simplifying, refining your sensory boundaries. What you allow in your material space mirrors what your system believes it deserves. Slow, small, steady provisions help you clean up what you deserve so that what you attract has cleaner, more honest vetting process of what you keep. Some of you will catch that later. The third container is relational. The relational container is simply you being mirrored back externally. It's how coherence circulates through platonic, romantic, professional, and communal connections. Your capacity to give and receive here depends on the balance of the first two. When financial and material balance stabilize, relationships become less about survival codependent exchange and more about energetic reciprocity. Harmony doesn't mean you share the same likes, hobbies, and history. It means your balance and someone else's balance can coexist without collapse. Balance is subjective. What I do to gain balance in my containers is different from what you do to gain balance in yours. The way you refine and sharpen your containers sharpens your discernment and your emotional regulation. You start to see who's here for a season and who's here through the changing seasons. And that discernment doesn't come from judgment. It comes from balanced inner precision. Healing in this triangular incubator, again, is a fluid process. They evolve as you evolve. However, they clash with the nonlinear invisible timelines. There are 3 invisible currents shaping your incubation: your personal timing, the timing of the components aligned with your coherence, and the timing of the distortion in the field. These 3 timings rarely sync in a clean way. It's why everything feels delayed, mysterious, or beyond comprehension. And yet, when the nervous system steadies, the patterns begin to reveal themselves. This is the interplay of what we call divine timing. And although it's tempting, you cannot rush this process or force it into a corporatized calendar. What you're building here has its own rhythm. And the truth is that what you create has its own compass. When you put it out there, yes, you use the marketing tools available, but your art won't be witnessed until it's ready to be witnessed. Your work is to shape, observe, and calibrate it, training time itself to work with your coherence instead of against it. And so practically this looks like using somatic tools like breath work, grounding yourself in nature, exploring creative expressions, slow movement, using cognitive tools like refining your self-talk, journaling, and discipline, meaning practicing radical self-honesty and responsibility, because you're hovering at the edge of everything unfolding. You're vigilant, but you're not frantic about it. And this allows you to track what's genuinely working while softening the urge to force what's not ready yet. And what looks like collapse is really integration. What feels like delay is really synchronization. And what the survival mind calls lack is just the nervous system rehearsing balance. I think that's it for now. But if you've benefited from anything shared here, please give this video a thumbs up, a like, reflect in the comments section below, and subscribe to the channel to stay posted for new uploads. And in the meantime, in between time, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and make the best of this right now moment and the right now moments to come.